Hi, it's me, Dave, again, and I'm animated again to talk about the missing Mopars. And I did a story like this back in 2013 for Allpar. I think I did more than one. So two things that we don't expect to see right now, so they're not really missing, are the 2026 Dodge Durango, which many think will be a lower cost version of the Wagoneer. Strip out the luxury, put in some extra trailer towing, boom, you've got a Durango. Now, the other one is the Dodge Dakota pickup truck, regardless of what they might call it, and that's expected to arrive at the Belvedere plant in 2026-2027, which is quite a distance away, and one can't help but think that they had not yet started to engineer it until they made the deal with the union. Now, let's talk about some other things. The Dodge Charger. It should be in production now. It obviously isn't. People at Mopar Insiders claim that there was a 3-month delay on that car, which seems likely as a minimum. And the Wagoneer S was also due to start production in Mexico by now. Charger's being made in Canada at the minivan factory, and Wagoneer S is being made in Mexico. They make the Compass now, and they're supposed to start on STLA large platform Wagoneer S and Jeep Recon. Since that hasn't started up yet, I'm guessing that they're having an issue with either the electric drive module, or the battery pack, or the software. So the delay on the Wagoneer S would seem to add some credibility to blaming the electric part of the Charger rather than saying that the hybrid Charger is the one that's delayed. Now, for those of you who are going to whine about there not being a gasoline version of the Jeep Wagoneer S, there actually is. It's called the Jeep Cherokee. They share a body code, which is, I assume, means that they share a body. It was never actually officially announced, but it's been on a lot of company paperwork. It's probably not due yet anyway, so it's hard to tell whether it's late or just hasn't shown up because it hasn't shown up because it's not supposed to show up. So that brings us back to the Jeep Recon, and that's an all-electric version of the Jeep Wrangler. It's also bigger. It's a completely different body. It's on Stella Large as opposed to Stella Frame like the Wrangler. It seems to have been pushed off the 2024 schedule, and we haven't heard about it lately. Some say it's being delayed to have a gasoline engine fitted. That seems like a silly idea, because why wouldn't they just make the electric one first? And you know, all this stuff about Stellantis not making the electric cars because people stop buying them forgets two things. One, we have had electric car growth stop for literally 1 quarter, and that's it. And it's quite possible that some of that is because people are looking at the number one electric car maker, Tesla, which has really borne the brunt of the sales drop, and they're saying, I don't think I want to buy from this man anymore. He's a little loopy. Anyway, we're not going to talk about Elon Musk. This is not the time. So the reason why Stellantis needs to do electric cars regardless of who else is winning and who else is losing is because they can't meet their fuel economy goals otherwise. They're getting a plant ready to make the 1.6-liter Peugeot engine with a turbocharger and probably a punch powertrain hybrid system on every single one, but I don't know what vehicles that'll go into. The Jeep Compass, which is one of them, which is one of what I would call missing vehicle in a way, although it wasn't really expected now because they have to finish rebuilding the Brampton plant first. And the company's been very busy lately. They've been doing things like investing in an electric VTOL aircraft company and buying half of a Chinese electric car company and getting their cars sold in Europe more easily so that they can fulfill their fear that Chinese will undercut them in Europe, and getting rid of lots and lots of people. So the company's been kind of busy, but the Jeep Compass is coming to Canada like they said it would. It's just not supposed to be there yet, so it's not really missing. Speaking of not really missing, we have the ProMaster EV, the electric ProMaster, which is, some people say it's delayed, some people say it's missing, but it's actually available to order now. It seems that there are 30 of them available around the entire country at around $89,000 each. That might seem like a lot, but ProMaster vans, well, commercial vans are not cheap, and these are meant to be delivery vans. The cargo vans come later. And if you've looked at delivery van stats, then you know that even those little post office vehicles that are really tiny, they get single-digit gas mileage. And if you can avoid the single-digit gas mileage with this Ram ProMaster EV, you'll probably make up that money very quickly, and you also have less maintenance. So it might actually be a really good deal for companies. Anyway, then you've got Chrysler, which was promised at least one new car by 2025, and the clock is ticking on those. If an electric Chrysler is actually very nearly ready to go, though, it's probably going to be delayed by whatever is holding up the charger. And let me just say here, once and for all, I'd rather have these delays than a bad car. I mean, what really killed Chrysler back in the olden times? 1957, when they screwed up the launch of their entire product line because they were supposed to be 1958s, but they rushed them through without a whole lot of testing and without refining, and they were junk. And it really killed their prized reputation for good engineering. 1976, they come out with the Volare S-Bin too early, and rusts all over the place. The reputation goes to pot again. 1989, the 4-speed automatic. Well, that killed their reputation for making flawless transmissions, didn't it? We do want them to delay if there's a problem. But it would be nice if they would communicate openly and clearly and consistently with us when this happens, rather than making cryptic comments now and then from different people that seem to contradict each other. They might all be true, but, it's like we shouldn't have to read the tea leaves. They should just talk to us, the customers, maybe directly, maybe send out a mailing to all the customers, instead of having things go through the news media where it always gets paraphrased and rewritten and misinterpreted. And maybe communicate with customers and employees as well as they do with stockholders. And you can't help but think a lot of their actions are just to keep the stock price up. And that seems pointless because, Toyota doesn't really do that. Toyota, they focus on the cars, the customers, and the employees. And the stockholders are happy most of the time because doing that keeps the company profitable. So the important people here are the employees, the customers, and the dealers. Anyway, that's my opinion. I might just be a crazy old man shouting at you to get off my lawn, but I think that it would be nice if we had some clear status on these vehicles, if the company would be upfront, and for God's sake, nobody is going to say, oh, naughty for you, you had a quality thing that you foresaw, things didn't work out quite as you planned, so you can't make the schedule. Ooh, we hate you for that. Nobody's going to say that. What people will say is, well, we have to respect this new company because it can be upfront, it can be honest, it can come right out and say, we're making a better car for you, and that's going to cause some delays, and that's just the way it is, because we don't want to screw up like we've done too often in the past. Sometimes honesty is the best policy, and this is Dave signing out.